Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank the University of Sydney, especially Greg, to give me the opportunity to be here. It's the third time I be in Australia, and I always really love it to be here. First of all, I'm a dairy farmer, and my whole presentation is out of the perspective that I'm a dairy farmer. So the number of dairy farmers are, actually the number of farmers are decreasing everywhere in the world. And I think it is very important to cooperate in the future as farmers international. We can learn from each other and we can support each other. My presentation, I will tell something what is happening in the world. I tell something what's happening in Europe and in the Netherlands. And at the end, I tell something about my farm. It's not to say how we have to farm. I try to inspire you. I try to exchange my way of farming, what's happening in Europe, and so on and so on. If there are in between any questions, please interrupt. Another point I like to make, recently there was an IDF Congress in Chicago, and the theme of the Congress was boundless potential, endless possibilities. I'm very positive, but I'm a bit concerned about that theme of the IDF Congress. Introduction. Here you see my wife in the middle and my two sons. I have two sons. The son on the right side is Peter. That's the younger son. He is doing a PhD in Boston, in America, and he will take over the farm in the future. Adrian on the left side, he is an international banker, and he farms. He lives in London. This is the name of our farm. I'm a member of Global Farmer Network. That's a very advocating international network based in the US. I'm board member of the World Dairy Expo in a big agriculture exhibition in the US. I have a consulting and business development company that's called Dairy Next. I support several farmers in India last years to set up their business. I set up a cooperative in 2006 by myself. It's still existing. It's a small dairy co-op in the northeastern part of the Netherlands. In an opportunistic, difficult word for me, opportunistic moment in my life, I started exporting pasteurized milk to China. We did it 2 years, but we had it went by plane, and we had a lot of problems, logistics, with the cartons and a big mess, but this doesn't matter. I'm in the advisory board of Barenbrug. It's a big seed company, and since 2017, I'm president of Global Dairy Farmers. So what I already said, everything what I'm saying is based on the fact that I'm a dairy farmer. And maybe another important point is we are from the Netherlands. We are a very tiny, small country. We are the second biggest agriculture exporter in the world. And the fact that I live in such a small country, the whole society is always looking abroad in every aspect. I like to start with some slides and just think about it, nothing more. This is a slide from the World Resource Institute. It's a famous institute in the US. And the fact is, we need more food in the world. And here they speak about 56%. If it will be 56, 48, 42, it doesn't matter. We need more food. And actually, the discussion, if it will be plant-based, organic, or what else, it's not that relevant anymore. It is a relevant discussion, but actually not in this case, I think. Main questions during, in general, the slide before about the extra need of food we need in the world, of course, it is mainly caused by the population growth. I have another slide at that later. Important dairy consumptions, what will be next trends, new products, consumption per capita, and so on. Population growth, and there is, we need more milk, we need to produce more milk, but the fact is where we're going to do that, and especially who's going to do that. And there's always a relation with the business model, but I will explain that later. Now we have climate change, we have all the sustainability topics, and we have a lot of new technologies as well. This is a picture how the world looks like. And it's impression how huge China and how huge India is. India, they're working on 35 new airports right now. They have a plan to build 35 new airports. And we in the Netherlands, we talk about reducing the number of flights, but it's not relevant anymore if you take a look at a country as India. There's another important slide, I think. I did a project a couple of years ago in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has 110 million people. There was a guy who wanted to set up a dairy farm, and I supported him, and I helped him, and so on, and he went to the Netherlands, and so on, and so on. But if you walk in Addis Ababa, in downtown Addis Ababa, they're all 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels, and there are McDonald's, and so on, and so on. And it's a huge, young population. And it concerns me a bit who will feed, how to get food in the future as well. It's something to think about it. There is a lot of, we have a discussion about manure and nitrogen, but there are a lot of new technologies. And this is just an example of a technology we're going to work on my farm. It's in the project phase. But we already have some commercial machineries, equipment. They analyze, they separate manure in nitrogen, liquid phosphate, and liquid kalium. So I think it's a development, it will not stop. And it could be a very important solution in the future. This is just a slide, maybe it's a bit relevant. Yesterday I spoke with some people from Australia, and there is a discussion, indoor, outdoor, more milk, and so on, and so on. Yeah, maybe this is, if the higher the production, the lower emission of greenhouse gases. But just think about it. This is it. These are data. This is a slide of FAO. It is from 2023. And it is not to give me the feeling that I'm on the right way as a farmer, but an important organization like FAO, they see there is still a future in consumption of dairy products. Fresh, processed, and so on, and so on. It's 23 data. Something else, we talked about sustainability, and I think the market, of course, the market is always leading. The market is always the boss. And This is the strategy of Nestlé. And Nestlé, they want to increase the milk production, but they also wanted to do it on a sustainable way. And I think if companies like Nestlé or other big food companies in the world, they like to go that way, and I think we have, as farmers, we have to do the same, or we have to follow. Consumer, or in this case, Nestlé, they've always right, I think. The next is a video. It's a video of DSM. It shows a quick overview of what's happening in the world, and I really like the video. They look at the modern way and a modern way of farming. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Maybe somebody can help me. It's a very nice video. He's running now. No, we quit it. No? Nobody can help me? Some noise? No noise?
The time to change is now. DSM is purpose-led, performance-driven. If we hope to feed sustainably and responsibly the 9 billion people who are expected to share our planet by 2050, the time to change is now. DSM is purpose-led, performance-driven. Our ambition is to create brighter lives for all. We want to drive the change that will transform the animal nutrition and health industry by steering the global conversation and helping to solve the biggest challenges facing society. We're building a sustainable future in 6 key areas: improving the lifetime performance of farm animals, making efficient use of natural resources, reducing emissions from livestock, helping tackle antimicrobial resistance, reducing our reliance on marine resources, improving the quality of meat, milk, fish, and eggs while reducing food loss and waste. Our innovative science-based solutions enhance every level of the animal nutrition value chain. We are making animal production more sustainable so we can bring better food, nutrition, and health to all, within planetary boundaries. If not us, who? If not now, when? Are you ready? We make it possible.
Agree? Back to the European Union and about the Netherlands. I think we, as the Netherlands, we are an exporting country. I think we have a kind of responsibility. Of course, it's business, exporting food, but we also have a kind of responsibility to Africa, to other countries. And in the Netherlands, we have perfect climate conditions. We have a lot of rain, we have good soil, we have a very good industry. We have a very strong cooperative in the Netherlands. I think in every country, if you have a good industry, it is very, very important. It's very important to have a good cooperative, and it's also, then there are opportunities for other businesses as well. We have very successful private companies as well, but all in the shadow of the big company Friesland Campina. We are very well educated farmers, but we also have the discussion with the society, agriculture against nature. And it's also the sentiment and the feelings of society. It's quite a challenge for us as farmers how to manage that. This is a graph about the first half of 23 compared to the first half of 22 about export. So we are, as European Union, we are still a large exporter of dairy. You see United States, New Zealand, UK, Australia, and so on and so on. It's recent data about export. How we valorize our milk in the Netherlands. We only use 30% as domestic for consumption in the Netherlands. We export 70%, and we export a lot to our neighbor countries, Germany, Belgium, and France. We are still exporting 25% of our milk to outside the EU. Something else we produce, you see it on the left side, we almost produce 14 billion kg of milk. And compared to Australia, I think Australia produced 8.6, and we almost 14 billion. Our average herd size in the Netherlands is 110 cows per herd, and we have a population of almost 18 million people, and in Australia 26.5 million. So they have quite a big, larger population. What's popular right now in the Netherlands is streams. There are quite a lot of factories. They collect the milk separately from a group of farms who are do longer grazing, who are producing milk non-GMO, no corn, no till, and so on and so on. All kind of requirements, and there are new milk streams. And it is always about, mostly it's about the liquid market. And if you are more an extensive farmer, you also can get a premium for the fact that you are an extensive farmer. And that premium can go up to 6-7 euro cents per liter. And what I already said, it's especially about the liquid market, and especially for German and for the Dutch market. This is how the industry looks like. Almost 15,000 dairy farmers, 14 million kg of milk. It's about, let's take a look. It's about, it has 6-7%. The dairy industry has affected on the gross national product. And just the farms are 2% of the gross domestic product, and the whole industry 7 or 8% to the Dutch economy. Now about farmers. I think I think it's very important, if you are a farmer, you have to belong to the top farmers in the region, top farms in the country. And that was 20 years ago was the same, 30 years ago was the same, but it's still the same. You have to be a top entrepreneur to be successful and to be surviving. And if you are a top entrepreneur, you have the opportunities to do a transition as well. And if you make money and you are profitable, you can invest in all kinds of new things about energy, about sustainability, and so on, and so on. And if you are successful, you have to be a vision, you have to be a strategy, and it will be necessary as well. Here we are a member of a European benchmark of dairy farmers. It are more than 300 dairy farmers from all Europe. And on the right side, you see the Dutch people, the Dutch farmers. It are 40 farmers. We are one of that 40. And what surprised me is the difference between the top farmers and the most worst farmers. It is almost 25 euro cents with the top and the bottom. And that was 20 years ago, it was 10 years ago. And when we start with this benchmark, I was always thinking at a certain moment we will all come together. But it is still the big difference. So the business model, you have to be a good farmer, you have to be a good entrepreneur. And it is just the technical results, how are the cows doing, how is your land production. So it's always important, and it's still very important. And we're working with the same data as many years ago. And this is data from the US, and they all work with the same. It may be hard to read, but they work with feed costs like you do and like I do, and with insurance and labor. It's the same system what we have already since a long time ago. And there is big difference between the top and the bottom. Now a little bit about our farm. I have a movie, but I don't think it's working. We're farming in the northern part of the Netherlands, only 2 kilometers from the sea. We cooperate with crop farmers in our region. They grow feed for us, and we grow seed potatoes on our farm. We exchange that, and we also work together with the manure. He used our manure, the crop farmers used our manure for his fields as well. Cows are grazing in the summer, and we also, next to grazing, we're feeding fresh grass into the barn. So they can choose. We're milking with robots already 25 years. The cows can choose to be inside and to be outside. And in the winter time, it is too wet, too cold to keep the cows outside. So then they are inside as well. So we always make feed for winter time. Cows were milked more than 3 times a day, and what I already said, in the summer they can go outside, inside, and they, of course you know that all. The cows make their own decision if they want to be milked or not. The fact in the Netherlands, I think a lot of European countries, the wages of labor are extremely, and so to milk with robots is a little more easier feasible in the Netherlands than a country like here, I think. We're always looking at our farm at three main points: fertility, young stock, and roughage. I think if fertility is running well, it is a sign that everything in the transition period and first 100 days in milk, that is okay. That's well ordered and that is under control. If young stock is growing well, it means that the first weeks, the first months is running well as well. We breeding heifers at 12 months, we start inseminate. We start to breed them at around 12 months. Roughage is very, very important in our case. Working together with the cooperation with the crop farmer, and we grow a lot of grass. We grow newest varieties. We grow alfalfa grass mixtures. We grow fodder beets. We mix them with corn silage and so on and so on. We do a lot of innovations about roughage. This is data from our benchmark, our European benchmark, and in the Dutch group, we as farmer, we produce almost 7,000 kilo just out of roughage, and we are the highest in our group. So our cows producing 11,000, and the 7,000 it's from roughage, and the rest from concentrate and grain. It's very important KPI. Land prices in our area are extremely. It's over 125,000 euro per hectare. This is the future for our farm. Maybe one thing, we're producing now 68 protein of our own. We get the premium for that, and we like to grow that maybe 75% if possible as well. This is, of course, this is important, but I have to hurry a bit. Now, for us, it's important next generation on the farm. Manure, I already mentioned it about Lely equipment, nitrogen crackers. We get the premium on our milk. On GMO, we get the premium. Grazing, we get the premium. Longevity, low antibiotic use, we get the premium from the factory. Quality, and so on and so on. I think we don't have any vaccination programs in the Netherlands. We are free of all diseases. It's very important for our position as exporting country. Recent data about everything about environment, nitrogen, and so on and so on. We were allowed to use 250 kilo per hectare of nitrogen from cow manure. But there's new rules, EU rules, and it has to decrease to 170 kilo in the future. Why? It is EU measurements. There are problems with the water quality, and so it is decided by government and EU. And here you can see ditches like we have in the Netherlands. Now we have to have, we call it buffer strips. This is this year for the first time, 1 meter till 3 meters. So it's not allowed to use it next to the waterways. But if you calculate it about the whole country, it's a huge amount of hectares that is lost. Now we have a lot of other rules are on the way. So the number of animals in the Netherlands will not increase, but will decrease. I think 10%, people talk about 10%, but it will be cows, but it also will be pigs and poultry. Why? We have a big discussion about nature and the quality of nature, and water quality is a discussion. And it's a discussion. It's in New Zealand. It's a discussion. It's in Germany. It's in Ireland as well. So what that means, less land available for agriculture. And that means maybe higher prices and so on and so on. The society. We are a country, we are extremely rich. People make a lot of money, and they have an opinion about everything. They have an opinion about rainforests and about New Zealand and about everything. And they have a big mouth about organic. The organic market in the Netherlands is just 4%. It don't grow. The organic market in France, organic dairy farmers in France, they stop with the business. There's no market. They go back to traditional. But it's still going on. Animal welfare. At a certain moment, we cannot dehorn the calves, and they have all discussion about bull calves longer on the farm, and so on and so on. Local markets, more space for housing and for nature, but I think it's a discussion that will be everywhere. What that means on an international perspective, I think Europe will be less exporting in the future. And it also means that we export we export a certain high quality products. And the Netherlands don't export skim milk powder, just a little. We export cheese for a lot. We export infant formula to China. All high added value products. And that will change. And maybe it could be a possibility for a country like Australia. But only high requirements is a challenge as well for a country like Australia. And of course, I think the discussion between the EU and Australia don't go very successful right now. The future, it has to be attractive for young farmers. And there has to be a business model what's in balance, that's profitable. Farming has to be profitable. And what I already mentioned in the beginning, I think that it's time for more cooperation, international. Decreasing of farmers is something what's happening all over the world, and maybe there will be new insights in the future as well about farming, about everything. And I think that maybe we can take home that as a message. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a few minutes for some questions. Anyone wants to kick off? Josh?
Yeah, I'm loud enough, I think.
I'm sure you are, yeah.
Good job. I just want to, everyone's seen in the media all the tractors going down the streets and the highways. What's your advice or experience from what you guys went through that you could give to our regulators, industry and farmers, so all key stakeholders?
Yeah, you mean the strikes in the news about the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you
Now, I talk about the business model, and first of all, you have to be a good farmer. You have to be a top farmer, and I generalize a little bit, but we didn't strike. We don't go. I don't have time, but I don't go with tractors to The Hague and to the government buildings. But we have 18 million people on a very small country, and we have too much cattle. And why must we? Why is the Netherlands the second egg exporter in the world? Why? So I think we want everything. We want nature. We want a lot of people. We want all a house, and we have too much farmers as well. And I think in the whole discussion, we never speak about entrepreneurship. About that's a bit my feedback on that. It's the answer of your questions or not?
Yeah, I just want to know what your message is to regulators to get farmers to come along for the ride rather than being antagonistic.
Yeah. I think, yeah. But I come a lot in the US, and if you US, it is the upscaling is extremely. It's all 6,000 farms and more, and 3,000. But in France, for example, it's an EU country. The French government, they want all the farmers. They will stay on the business. It's almost impossible to buy your neighbor. It has all constructions. But what the effect is, the France dairy industry, they're milking still 60 cows and 70 cows. And there is no new generation. So it's difficult. It's very difficult. And what you see in the Netherlands, we grew. In my career, we grew a lot. But what you see now in the Netherlands, if a farmer wants to grow, he buys another location or start processing. And in the western part of the Netherlands, they start a shop or they start a kindergarten, something like that.
Thanks. There is another question, Ken?
Talk about the consumer being right and looking for that sustainable future, and the community have an opinion and lots of opinion about farming and what it should look like, and they seem to be driving the agenda. But probably further to Josh's question, what do you see as the role of government in supporting, or the role of industry as well in terms of driving the agenda? Or is it just going to be the consumer who drives the agenda for dairy going forward, and that's it, and we just have to respond to it? But, is there a role for government? Is there a role for industry to be driving that agenda?
Yeah, I understand your question, I think. We have, for example, in the Netherlands, we have a party of animals. They have 5-6%. It's a party for animals. But what you see last couple of years, we have also a new party. It is the biggest one right now. It is Farmer Society. If I translate it, it's Farmer Society Movement. They were the biggest one. So, but we don't have any respect from the government. The government don't see the Netherlands as an egg country. I think is that yeah. But we have elections and about 2 weeks, and maybe it will change that. And we have very tight nitrogen covenant. Covenant is English, yeah. And if they will change something with the elections, maybe the whole covenant will disappear. But now the people, there is a movement in the Netherlands, a little more pro-farming than it used to be. But another thing I didn't mention, I think if we talk about sustainability, about cow welfare, longevity, I think the Netherlands We are an exporting country. I think we have to be on pole position. When I came to the US, they use antibiotics. It's already 20 years forbidden in the Netherlands. They use it still now. It's third generation's antibiotics. And I don't want that way as well. Kijk, the Chinese, they want to buy infant formula, they buy it in the Netherlands. And not in Germany, not in Belgium, but they want it in the Netherlands.
Okay, I'm being told that we have another couple of minutes, so let's do some two quick questions. Greg?
Yep.
And
Thank you
quick
for your
answers, please.
Thank you for your presentation, Ad. You mentioned global dairy farmers and the need for collaboration. How do you see Australian farmers and Australian industry collaborating with GDF?
We have, I didn't speak about global dairy farmers. It's a community of 500, 600 farmers. It's entrepreneurs, really entrepreneurs. And very positive, very progressive. And we have some Australian farmers as well. But what we do with that group, we stimulate each other. And we have farmers from New Zealand, they have an organic farm in Brazil. We have farmers from India, they're milking 300 cows and they sell all the milk bottled to New Delhi. It inspires us and gives us a positive vibe. Yeah.
And we have the last question over there, please.
Beauty. Thank you very much, Ad. Point of clarity for everyone in the room. From my exposure from dairying in New South Wales, half the people talk in milk solids and half the people talk in litres. And thank you very much for adding in a third element where I think you're referencing kilos production, but it's in effect litres on a couple of your slides. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was litres, I'm sure.
So it references the kilos, but it is in fact litres as well. I don't know if you want to go back to a slide just to provide that clarity or not.
I don't think it is. No, it doesn't need. I think when you mention the kilograms, the total billion liters, you said kilograms. That is basically referring to liters.
12,000 litres, 12,000 kilos, you said.
Wait a minute, sorry, I missed something.
Don't worry, sir. Okay, I think it's...
But I was a bit nervous. I don't know why, but I was a bit nervous. But I like the business and I love it. And I'm very proud that our son will take over the farm. But I still think farming is a bit a small world. And I did a lot of other things as well. And yeah, it's gives me so much more as person. But in the Netherlands, we have huge suicide percentages in the Netherlands under farmers. It never has to be that high as it is now. So it concerns me a bit as well. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't quite get to my question after that point of clarity, which worked so well. Two presenters. Tim, I got a sense that a lot of the drive for change out of New Zealand is coming from the people that live in dairying communities to have clean rivers, all those sorts of things, as opposed to probably the drive from change coming from the consumer. Am I right that the push for the change is coming from two different angles, but is the end game the same?
No.
So it's a question for both of you. So, Tim, do you want to?
Thanks, mate. Well done. That was awesome. Yeah, just really quickly. Depends. Water, domestic issue for us. I mean, like at the end of the day, you go to customers around the world, food safety is still paramount, still number one. But now, every conversation that our dairy companies have with an ingredient customer like Nestle or Abbott or Wyeth or whoever, how are you going with your carbon plan? Every conversation. So when it comes to carbon, but then when it comes to our country, because we're half of our total emissions in CO2, not half our warming, but half our emissions it's starting to become more of a domestic issue. And when we start having to pay bills as a country on that, so it just depends if that makes sense. You're right.
I missed the question.
Where's the pressure? Are you responding to the customer or to the public more? Or are they
The
both
public.
The same? The public.
Yeah. The public is, well, it's nothing new for you. Yeah, the public is not the consumer. They have all a big mouth about organic, but they don't buy organic. Yeah. But something else I forgot to.
Maybe.
I forget one comment.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
No,
Yeah,
I'm with two friends from Uruguay. I have many friends all over the world, but I have two friends in Uruguay, and we tried to set up a dairy farmers with three of us in Uruguay, and we're quite far in the process. But when I visit a country like Uruguay, it was a shame. What farmers, we visit some farmers with such a poor management. It's incredible. It's unbelievable for me. Yeah.
We have the last question there. Okay, you go first, but very quickly, please.
Okay.
Use the microphone, please.
Just the conversation about from an export country, like New Zealand, for example, is more than 90% of the production is going outside of the country, but you're getting 100% of the footprint, and the government get the challenge to deal with the 100% footprint versus only 10% national food security. So the public perception we inherited here in Australia is coming from big places or big countries where they taking, and it's fair for the people to, to somehow say something, because it's the 100% footprint versus so it's more like a business model. For a lot of dairy farmers where we concentrate in the national food security, and it's easier for the government concentrate in the national food security rather than a business model. So do you reckon that somehow that drive the regulation in countries like Netherlands and New Zealand? Because the conversation and the way how you guys dealing is a lot higher than what we're dealing
now,
at the moment.
In the short comment on in the Netherlands, we have a system. It is about circularity. It's founded by government and universities, but it is still improving every day, every year. And it's a picture of the farm, what's coming and what goes out. And the result is the footprint. And if you have good results and you get the premium, then it's okay for me. Then there is a kind of a business model. But we have a system, and it's every year it becomes better and better and better and better, fine-tuning. It's about circularity. Is that a question of you? It's about nitrogen, it's about carbon, it's about...
Thanks, Adam.